Earth, approximately 40,000 kilometers around, terrestrial planet, third from the sun, and our home, our mother. And like a mother does, she has the power to support and sustain us, to nourish us, even to rebalance and heal us through various elements and mechanisms. And one in particular is a timeless practice that modern day science and research is now calling earthing. Earthing simply means, in its basic form, to literally become grounded or in contact with the earth. It simply means living in contact with the earth's natural surface charge, being grounded, which naturally discharges and prevents chronic inflammation in the body. Earthing brings a whole new meaning to what it means to be grounded, because in order to do so, we have to physically come in contact with the earth. Sego, welcome back to Holistic Wellness with Michelle, my friends. The space where, when we share our knowledge together, our earthing wisdom arises. Now, there have been a few times throughout my career, I'd say maybe more in the last 5+ years, where I have, at the end of a session, encouraged someone to go home, take off their shoes and socks, and go walk upon the earth. As I sit here today, I can't really tell you why I encouraged that, other than maybe some type of instinctual, innate spiritual drive, spiritual energy that encouraged that. I don't know if that's relevant. Regardless, I encouraged it nonetheless. The feedback that came back from those individuals, though anecdotal, I think serves some power to our video today. In that, reduced anxiety, reduced irritation, better sleep, improved sleep quality, but most importantly, I think a sense of calm, a sense of peace came into these individuals as they explained it by simply reconnecting with the earth. Now, it was about 2 years ago when I received an email from someone I had worked with previously, and that email carried a link to a short YouTube clip, 15 minutes, called Down to Earth, the earthing movie, and I will post a link for that in the comment section below. But in the video, it really starts to describe the science and the knowledge behind what earthing is. And since that time, I now, when I'm talking with people, whether I'm in my work or in my practice or in my community, my family, my friends, I now am starting to talk to people and encouraging people why earthing or grounding, reconnecting with Mother Earth is so valuable and important to our holistic wellness. Now, though earthing is a relatively new concept to the scientific community, I'm going to quickly add a growing body of research. There's over 20 research studies at this point. A growing body of research that really supports the efficacy and the legitimacy of earthing. This book here, again, I'll post the link for this one down below as well, but in the back, Appendix G, there's a little bibliography that paraphrases the research itself and the research findings. So if you're interested in looking in that research, I'll post this down below. But again, even though it's relatively new to the scientific community, the concept of grounding or earthing or tuning to Mother Earth is a timeless practice that information or knowledge can be found through old, ancient cultures and traditions. I'm going to give 2 examples for the purpose of our video today. One example comes out of ancient Chinese culture. If you read the culture, you get into the history of the Chinese way of being, they call it qi. Specifically, earth qi, and heaven qi. And essentially, in a quick little nutshell, if you want more information, please research that piece. But in a quick nutshell, what she talks about is how talks about the magnetic fields and the energies of the heavenly bodies like the moon, and how the earthly bodies like Mother Earth, and how they work together to balance and heal and bring life to all beings on the planet. The second example is through traditional indigenous culture. Now, I'm not going to pretend and sit here that I know everything about all indigenous culture around the world. I don't. But there is one common thread that, please add a comment if you know a difference to this, but there's a common thread that I think I'm going to safely say you can find within all indigenous culture, and that is the power and the reverence and the sacredness of our connection to Mother Earth. I'm going to give a couple of examples to that today, very, very briefly and quickly. I've said in other videos, I come from a Haudenosaunee or Iroquois lineage, Mohawk in particular. In the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address, which is a greeting to the natural world, and I have a copy of it right here, I'm just going to read off from it. This might be something that we would share at the beginning of ceremony, if we're opening a powwow. Some people will say it, elders, for example, may say it as they open each day. It says this: the Earth Mother. We are thankful to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us all we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, we send our greetings and thanks. And now our minds are one. The second example comes from this book right here called The Clay We're Made Of by Susan M. Hill. And again, I will post the link for this one down below. In this, she shares a really important Haudenosaunee, again, or Iroquois teaching, which is that we beings literally are born from the clay of the earth. The third example is the Sacred Sweat Lodge. A sacred sweat lodge, from my teachings and understanding, is it's built right into the earth itself. The poles that shape the lodge are driven into the earth. When you go into a sweat lodge and sit, you are sitting literally on the bare earth. Which really makes me start to wonder, if we come from the earth, we come from the clay she is made of, doesn't it make sense then to be balanced, holistic, healthy beings that we maintain purposefully a connection to our Mother Earth? Since the invention of synthetics and the introduction of synthetic soles on our shoes during World War II, we humans have spent the last almost 80 years being completely disconnected and insulated from the earth. Now, I'm no science mind, so I'm going to try to share this section really simply as I can. Science informs us that we are electrical beings living on an electrical planet. The Earth is like a giant battery, and when we make direct contact with the Earth's surface, such as through our bare feet, our hands, etc., we immediately begin to absorb negatively charged electrons, which works to rebalance the electrical imbalances that, unbeknownst to us, develop within our bodies over time through exposure to the electronics around us. These electrical imbalances ignite and slowly fuel chronic inflammation. The current research is so exciting and promising right now because it's consistently showing how earthing power reduces inflammation in the body. Inflammation is the #1 factor in multiple chronic diseases. Now, I'm going to make a link here, so stick with me. One of the main tools in cognitive behavioral therapy for anxiety is to engage people with exercises designed to target and reduce stress impact on the body. When someone is consistently anxious, constantly revved up, think about it as you're having your foot on the accelerator constantly in your car. This state floods and keeps the body flooded with the stress hormone, adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol. Cortisol is responsible for reducing inflammation in the body. But if your foot is constantly on the accelerator and the stress hormone never turned off, over time, cortisol becomes dysregulated and can't do its job properly, which leads us to having constant inflammation in the body. Over time, that constant inflammation leads to the creation of chronic diseases such as heart disease, autoimmune disorders, cancer, diabetes, etc. So imagine for a minute, earth and earthing, grounding in combination with therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy. Earthing is another valuable tool in our toolbox of holistic healing practices. Which brings us to our exercise for this video. What I'd like you to do is take some time, go outside, take off your shoes and socks, and walk upon the earth. Hopefully it's a nice day where you are. If it's not, you might have to leave this for another day. But what I'd like you to try to do is do this for about 20 to 30 minutes and a couple times over the next week. And I would like to encourage you to really pay attention, be mindful to how this experience feels in your body. What changes are you noticing? As you do this, please be mindful that earthing is not a cure for anything. However, if it can reduce inflammation in the body, then that means that it has the ability to slow down disease, speed healing, reduce pain, and can be life-changing. So to end our video today, I thought I would share with you my own anecdotal story, my own observations about my engagement with deliberate earthing over the last few weeks. So I have earthed for a long time, on and off, but I've never actually kept a journal and actually tracked it. What I'm paying attention to is I have a lot of left side hip flexor and knee pain, and sometimes pain in my left side, I suspect from compensation to my right. Probably just buildup of years and years and years of running and playing sports and being highly competitive in athletics. Takes its toll sometimes. Here's a quick summary of my observations. So I often get a lot of knee and hip pain walking up and down the stairs. In the last couple weeks, particularly the last week and a half, that pain seems to be completely gone. There's still a bit of pressure there, but the pain itself, that drawing, pulling, burning sensation, is not there. I've noticed a significant improvement in my sleep. I'm normally this kind of person that takes 20 to 30 minutes to fall asleep. Not so much in the last few weeks. 10 minutes, give or take, and I'm noticing I'm really asleep. I'm also noticing that I'm more ready for sleep at the end of my night. 10:30, lights out, I gotta go to bed. That is really significant. I've also observed that I tend to run, my hands and feet tend to run cool, even cold sometimes, especially in the winter. I've noticed that through the last couple of weeks with earthing that I tend to have a lot warmer energy in my body, and that's again also really helpful and promising for me. The other observation I want to share is not about me whatsoever, it's about my dog. So she has a cyst on her back foot. All winter long, my husband and I constantly treated it. We constantly cared for it. It was constantly open and weeping. We did the best we could. I had this revelation moment, I don't know, last weekend, I think. Yeah, last weekend, when I said to my husband, wow, look at that. Her foot is completely healed. And then it hit me. Her foot's been healed for weeks now. When we're outside, she's constantly lying, rolling around, walking on the earth. She doesn't know what the earth does for her, but her toe appears to be responding to that earthing. Because again, she scraped it last weekend very minutely, but it took only, 2 to 3 days, and it was completely healed. So there's a little anecdotal information for you as to what I'm observing with my own earthing practice. And I think what I'm going to do, because I'm super excited about this topic, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep tracking this and journaling this for at least the next 3 months, maybe the next 6 months, who knows, maybe a year from now, I'll do a video completely talking about my year of earthing and the observations that and the observations and the things I've experienced from that. So we'll see a year from now and what that's going to look like. Remember that one person, one idea, and one mindfully explored and shared piece of knowledge does have the power and the ability to change another person's perspective and quality of life for the better. If you liked and got something out of our video today, please take the wisdom in this video, repost it and share it with other people, and get earthing together. Give us that thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. As always, I will take all the information that I shared with you today and post the links and the citations and sources of where that information came from, so that if you're interested, you can explore and further learn about earthing itself. This is, for me, a very exciting, fascinating topic. I love talking about encouraging people to reconnect themselves to our Mother, the Earth. So rest assured, I'm going to be doing more videos on earthing. Who knows, maybe I'll even develop an earthing series for this channel, bringing you all kinds of beautiful knowledge and the power of connection to Mother Earth. I will see you in 3 weeks for my next video. Meow yo, thank you so much for tuning in today and exploring with me the wisdom of earthing. May you go and get earthing in a good way.